Ew, gay flag, gay, gross,
Bruh.
canceled.
God.
Oh shit, it's a gay flag and it's a gay guy wearing a skirt. Holy shit. Fuck.
By the way, the bit inside the podcast is me being straight.
Bruh.
Yeah, definitely. He was straight.
Yeah, definitely you egg. Welcome back to the Not Okay podcast. We
Hi.
narrowly survived cancellation the first time, so we're still here, bitches.
We are.
But yeah, welcome to episode 2. And we actually have a guest, our first guest, my lovely friend, Romanophonie. Welcome to the podcast.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Hi.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
You're the main host, Gabe, today. So,
Yeah.
But for today's episode, unlike the first episode, we're actually going to be talking about a bunch of certain things and not just going off a bunch of crazy nonsense. Specifically on how Romanophonie began his language learning, I guess you could say career, but you can decide.
hell yeah.
But yeah. Without any further ado, before we get started, explain who you are, Romanophonie, to the audience.
Sure. So, I'm from New York and I really like learning languages. So I speak English and Spanish because they're both like my mother tongues. I speak Spanish at home and English because, well, kind of have to speak English here. And then I learned like French, Italian, and Portuguese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy
So,
crap.
that's like the summarized version, but I'm sure you have like questions, so I can elaborate.
How easy it is to go from like a second language to third to fourth to fifth, because they do have similarities.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So I think like the fact that I'm starting with like a base of like 2 languages, like and being natively bilingual already helps. But
Mhm.
I think even if you only have one like native language, it's still kind of the same concept. It just might be slightly more difficult, but it does get easier in the sense that you know how you learn the languages better. I don't know if it necessarily gets easier in terms of the actual learning of the specific languages. I think it depends if they're like similar, different, how interested you are, how much time you have. I think it depends on like a lot of things, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can say from my personal experiences, I learned languages at a later time in my life. It was harder to start learning, but once I did, once you get stick to a similar language group, it's quite easy to learn those languages. I started out with learning Spanish, and then I went on to French, and it was god damn, it was so fucking easy to learn. And even though I'm quite a little bit rusty with my languages now, since I've been practicing a lot, I can see those patterns with the other Romance languages I know, including Latin. Those patterns are still there, and with me knowing them, it's easier to learn.
That's quite
But-
cool because I'm like bilingual. I think it's kind of a meme. I'm from Poland, so I speak Polish. For me, it was so hard learning English because I came to England in 2011. I think it took me 3 years to finally be comfortable with it. And in 2019, I was trying to learn Spanish because I went to Gran Canaria without knowing that you kind of need to speak Spanish in Spanish-speaking countries. I was I'm just gonna stick to tourist places, but no, it was completely kind of scary. So I had to learn it, and then within a week, I was kind of speaking to people on the streets. I was that's how crazy quick you learn. But it's still
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I remember much from Spanish.
yeah, when you're there, it definitely helps
Hmm.
a lot than if you're just learning it from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you I don't think you can learn from home. You have to actually go out there and learn it.
Yeah, being out there, with those people who speak that language, it definitely gives a boost, you learning a whole lot better and getting more immersed.
Hmm.
I tried to learn Dutch through Duolingo, and frankly, I just gave up. I learned a basic few things, and I'm yeah, I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean Duolingo's not the best, I think. So I don't really think it's your fault in that case. but-
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was learning
Yeah.
through Duolingo in 2019, and it definitely helped me, to be honest.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the sentences are random. Like, I don't know, like the sheep is black. Like, how many times are you gonna
Yeah.
say the sheep is black in like every day?
The Duolingo memes, like you can see how like stupid and like insane some of those sentences can get.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, I'm just wondering, like, how. Okay, so a question for like people who like here who speak more than like 2 languages. How many times do you encounter like let's say a French-speaking person that doesn't know that you speak like understand the language, and that just like completely gets blown. Like they talk shit or something about you. Like they're like, oh, this fucking cashier is just so slow, but they say it in French, like their native language, and you're just like, I can understand you, you know. Like, did you have any situations like this?
That actually hasn't happened to me, but I know people who that happened to, but hasn't happened to me yet.
I see. Well, you're lucky then.
Lucky for now.
Yeah.
I had situations where like I would be working, and somebody would just like not know I'm like Polish, so they would just like say something about like out loud like, oh, this fucking guy on the computer is like so freaking slow. I'm like, thanks, bro. Like thank you very much. I'm trying really hard, and like they would be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, and they would like always just be cool about it. But yeah,
I mean, I guess that's a good thing about speaking multiple languages is that you have a higher chance of knowing what people are saying about you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the case. I would love to like have that kind of brain to like learn more languages.
Anyone like can start learning if they have the passion, the drive. They can start, and if they really want to keep doing this,
Yeah,
like
I think
there's resources out there that can help them out.
I
Mm.
think the hardest part is just like actually doing the stuff you need to do to learn the language instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm learning this language," and watching like one video in the language in a week and saying that that's enough.
Like a lot of people don't expect that you have to like constantly keep like on your toes like learning languages. Like you have to like keep learning and like keep speaking language so you can like get used to it, so you don't forget it. Like, and I
Yeah,
think that's the
you
problem
can-
with me because unfortunately my languages have gotten really rusty and I haven't been talking to like a lot of people like in foreign languages. So
Mm-hmm.
like I guess that's why that's why a lot of people think I guess they don't understand me as much. It's because my experiences like are limited and I haven't like used these languages in like multiple times, even years. But people need to understand that like you need to keep constantly like being immersed and like keep learning just so like they can like attain some form of fluency.
Yeah, I feel like that's true even if it's like your third, fourth, fifth, I don't know, whatever language, like because I feel like it's even more true there because even if it's like a similar language like Italian and Spanish, like I feel like you're gonna get even more lazy with it and you're gonna speak like a mix, but you're not gonna actually speak the other language, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like
Mhm.
you're just gonna be speaking this mix and like
Not
kind
making
of
any sense.
trying to get away with it. Like it might make sense a little
Yeah.
bit, but you're gonna try to get away with it, but you're not actually like learning the new separate language.
I feel like when I kind of like I'm good at like English and my native language, now it feels like I'm not fluent in both, like any of them. It feels like I don't have a native language anymore because it's just like so mixed. Like when I speak, for example, it's just so awkward to speak with like other fellow natives being like, you don't sound like you're from like home country. It's like it sounds like I'm a foreigner sometimes. I'm just like I'm wondering if you guys have the same problem, like basically saying like, oh, I'm no longer like multilingual. I'm just like I'm kind of okay with most languages.
I feel like that's happened a little bit with my Spanish, maybe. Not with my English. I feel like my English has consistently stayed at the same level, but that's probably just because I've been using it consistently, like as much, like
I'm
the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Like with
sorry.
with with like like with friend or with my Spanish, like when I was little I would speak it a lot, but like now I don't speak it as much. Even though I still speak it a lot, it's not as much. So I feel like depending on how much you use the language and how long you've been using it for, it's gonna fluctuate your level.
Yeah.
Even if it's your mother tongue, it can happen to you.
My family just walked in and he was like, "You locked me out of the house because I forgot I left the. Apparently I just left my keys in."
The door was locked and you left your keys in.
Yeah,
So I had to basically pick our own fucking front door.
there you go. Hey, you did it! Congratulations! I'm just insert like a clapping sound, just like fucking massive crowds of like. But yeah, I'm recording an podcast, so.
Yeah.
Do you speak more languages more than English?
No, I tried, but I'm not very bilingual. I've never wrapped my head around it really. I tried learning both Russian, German, French, all of which failed completely. I even tried learning about Polish to like, fucking talk with you and like have a joking.
I'm gonna have to mute that, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you making like fucking? Are you trying to like persuade everyone that you're like Norwegian or something?
How dare you? No, I just want people
Aren't
to
you
know.
Icelandic?
Are you Bjork?
Oh yes,
Are you
definitely.
the spawn of Bjork?
No, I just don't like the Polish cow memes being spammed at me.
Yeah. I can say from from experience that my Polish friends, they fucking hate that meme to death.
Yeah, it's just it's whatever. It's a cool sound, I guess. But the whole memes of like my argument whenever somebody brings up that I'm Polish and the fucking building just completely fucking collapsing. That fucking gif.
Yeah.
I'll just insert it, but like yeah.
Yeah. But I
I
guess
found the
back
opposite
to like
version where it's just like their argument when they find out I'm Polish and the building rises from the ground, and I was like,
That's a cool meme, yeah.
yeah, that's.
That's our reoccurring guest, Fanboy Blacksmithing on this side.
now it's time to milk them again for money.
Yes. Money.
Oh, yeah, back-
I wish we get money from this. Maybe one
Yeah,
day.
I need it. I need the money.
And you left the milk out.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I left the milk out.
But yeah, back to what you were saying. Like my family said, before I spoke English, like I knew like American Sign Language,
Oh wow.
but
Did Gabe freeze?
there I'm cutting out.
Yeah, you're
Gabe.
cutting out a little bit.
My family said like I used to know like American Sign Language before I spoke English, but obviously I literally do not remember any of it anymore. Like not even like any single words.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder
Which is
if you were gonna like relearn it, would it be easier for you?
probably not because I
mean, it's been
can
like
explain
two decades
Yeah.
almost.
literally almost 2 fucking decades. Almost fucking. Be surprised I feel fucking old.
Same.
But yeah, it probably would be hard for me since like I guess social skills, like I assume, but it'll probably be a bit hard, like speaking a language. So I'm not used to like using signs.
I would still love to learn Spanish because it seems like a language that like would be very useful if I'm traveling across like not only Spain but like all of South America almost speaks it, except for like Brazil.
And
Like alongside like Mandarin Chinese, like Spanish is like one of the new like upcoming languages that like are now like really popular.
well, the difference
people,
with
like,
Mandarin is that you don't actually need it unless you're in China. But like Spanish, you actually need if you're like in a lot of countries. So
yeah, managed here is more important than like Mandarin Chinese.
Another language like that is Russian actually. If you watch like Bald and Bankrupt on YouTube, he goes to like Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. They all speak Russian. It's quite interesting to me. They all like are just fluent in Russian, which is
Are they gonna
crazy.
rebuild the USSR?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just like wondering, like, would that be the primary 3 languages? Would be like English, Spanish, Russian?
I'd probably say like 4 or 5 like languages.
French also, because like
French, yeah.
Africa, and even parts of even like a country in South America, the Caribbean, some parts of Asia, like French is like.
Yeah.
I know how to speak some French. I
Oh my
surrender.
God.
Wow.
Bruh. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the fuckers, like, made a video with them, like, all in everything Russian, and, like, they go over, like, how, like, on bankrupt, like, why he, like, was passionate about, like, going to these, like, Slavic countries and, like, learning Russian. But despite the fact that, like, it's astronomically hard to learn Russian, like, he, like, was so passionate about, like, the culture and stuff, like, that he went full, like, over and beyond just, like, at least, like, get some fluency in Russian, even though, like, he speaks good Russian, like, but, yeah.
Difficulty depends on like the person, right? Like on how motivated you are and like how close it is to your native language. Like,
Yeah. I wonder if it would be easy for me. Would I, if I, because obviously there are some similarities between Russian and Polish, but like, there is like, people say that it's the same. It's not. We literally share like maybe 1 out of 20 words, maybe 1 out of 50 words that is said. Like, people, yeah. I'm just wondering if I could start learning Russian.
I mean, it would be easier than Spanish probably, but that's just because they're both Slavic languages, Polish and Russian.
One of the big hurdles I would have to get over, I guess, would be Cyrillic. The actual alphabet is different.
Yeah.
It's crazy to like learn it and say.
I mean, I feel like there's only so many letters in the Cyrillic alphabet, so if you learned the equivalents and all the ones that you can't really equate, it probably would only take a few weeks.
Slavic language family is like one of the younger like language families in the European like language group. Like I think they only like I guess they mostly diverged like from like I guess intelligibility like 800 or so years ago.
Yeah, it was similar apparently. If you look at like medieval documents, I guess.
Yeah, like back in like the medieval times, like Old Church Slavonic was like the lingua franca of the Slavic countries. Of course, in Western Europe there was Latin, because why not?
Right.
But yeah,
this episode is gonna be so different than the previous one. It's gonna be so like less chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, yes.
Hey viewers, you're learning today.
Miasma, Romanophonie, Language Lessons 101.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, with the Romance languages, I guess it's kind of different because they are like closer, I think, than the Slavic languages, from my understanding. And also like, it's more of a dialect continuum rather than like separate languages. So like, you just have a bunch of languages that kind of like overlap and then stop overlapping, and then like in Southern Europe, it's mostly Romance languages, right? So if you start from like the northwest of the Iberian Peninsula with Galician, and then you end with like Romanian, it kind of like they get farther and farther apart linguistically, but I'm not sure how it works for the Slavic languages, but probably not as intertwined, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
From my own experience, I would say Polish is similar to obviously Czech and Slovak, but also Serbian and like Croatian. It's so freaking like, but like we are skipping like Slovenia and like other countries. It's quite interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, like, if I'm not mistaken, like, I could be wrong, but like, I think, like, Polish and, like, Czech and Slovak are, like, in the Western, like, Slavic language branch, and, like, stuff like Ukrainian and, like, I think Belarusian and Russian, like, on the Eastern, like, side of the, like, language family.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess...
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, what you were saying about, like, how when they were older, like, they were more similar, I mean, that makes sense, because it's, like, they came from Proto-Slavic, right? And then they branched out. It's not like they kind of just existed in a vacuum and never like...
Oh, I mean, wouldn't you say that is the case for Hungarian and Finnish, because they're so different than any of the neighbors?
Well, those, but like the Slavic languages and the Romance languages and the Germanic languages, they all come from like Proto-Italic, Proto-Germanic, and like Proto-Slavic. So they all have like this ancestor we can pinpoint. Like we don't know where Hungarian and Finnish came from, but they probably came from somewhere, we just don't know.
Hungarian, Finnish, and Estonian, like they are Ural languages. And
Mhm.
some
Like Basque.
speculate, and yeah, Basque. That
Basque.
is, of course, Basque. Like we currently do not know, basically the ancestors, of Basque. Like it's just one non-European language that's just barely managed to survive, and it's quite interesting. Like if you don't know what it is.
I'm still thinking about like what kind of languages there must have been in like all of Africa, and then it's just like all kind of gone because of the colonies.
Well, I mean, there's actually surprisingly a lot of languages that are like still like alive in Africa that aren't like from Europe,
Mhm.
because most Africans are actually tend to be bilingual. Not in all countries, but a lot of them like speak the regional language of where they're from. Like there's the Bantu languages in like the center of Africa, like the westish part too. So it's like they speak that and whatever language was like imposed by like the colonizers. But
I see.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Actually.
yeah,
well,
so I mean the languages that are like more dead, like I mean it kind of like depends, I guess, but like in Puerto Rico, like the native language was like Taino, but there's like no like speakers of that anymore. So there it's like just Spanish completely replaced it, but like that's not always the case.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like in Mexico, for example, like the Nahuatl.
Oh, the
That's
Nahuatl or some, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure.
or if you're fucking stupid, basically the language of the Aztecs. Like
Oh.
it's like Spanish is mostly the language is like Mexico, but not the has survived, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And-
mean a lot of people from like poorer or like more rural backgrounds tend to speak Nahuatl, I think, and then they learn Spanish when they have to like work or when they go to
Yeah.
school, but like
I see.
pretty sure. I
Like
mean,
the-
speaking of dying languages, like in Europe, there are like dying languages like right under our noses. Like a lot of people, if you ask them what Occitan is, they won't know what that is, but it's a southern language in France that's related to French. It's also a Romance language. But I mean, what happened in a lot of European countries is with the unifications, they chose one language and they were like, this is the language we speak.
Mhm.
So the French tend to be particularly patriotic and nationalistic. So they were like, only French. And French actually just comes from like the Parisian regional language, because there were a bunch of other like langue d'oil, which is just like the northern French languages, where the word for yes was something like oil, and then the southern French language is like Occitan. Well, that's kind of the more umbrella term, but
Mhm.
that like so most of those like are like almost dead because like no one really speaks them anymore, because like French is like the only thing you like speak in
Mhm.
France, but there are
Yeah.
still like a few people, but like in Catalonia, like Barcelona, like people actually speak Catalan, and sometimes they'll refuse to speak to you in Spanish
Really?
just out of spite for the Spanish government like imposing, Spanish onto them. So there it's not like actually like endangered, but like the varieties of Occitan in southern France are, because like you might see some writings when you walk around, but like there are so few people because it's so stigmatized. It's like the French think, why would you like speak the language? But I think it could only help if they were like bilingual. Like, yeah.
Definitely. It seems like a cultural inheritance to speak that like
Yeah.
other language. Like
And it's not like you can't learn it, because like I mean there are like some French young people that are actively trying to learn these languages just to like preserve them, so you can learn it because we still know like a lot about the languages.
It's
Yeah.
interesting to me because like where I come from in Poland, it's like south of Poland, and we have this dialect. It's classified as a dialect, but it even has its own Wikipedia like version.
It's probably its own language, right? Just politically a dialect.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's like Silesian, and up north is a Kashubian, and it's like literally different dialects. I can't speak Silesian. I can understand it though. That's the crazy thing. It's like, why can't
Yeah.
I speak it? But like, if somebody from
Yeah.
Silesia comes in, fucking like a 60-year-old boomer, and they like perfectly speak Silesian, I'm just like, oh yeah, I understand. But I won't reply to them in like Silesian, but I will reply to them in Polish, and they completely understand.
I mean, I feel like the thing about dialect, I mean, I like the quote from like the Swiss, I think it was like a philosopher and linguist. He said like a language is a dialect with an army and navy, because essentially it is a dialect with an army and navy, right? Like there's no actual like linguistic difference between a language and dialect. Like Silesian, I think you said, is probably just as much of a language as Polish is, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just not given the army and navy that Polish is given for, I don't know, for political reasons.
Mhm.
But
There are like actual, what's it called, movements to like bring it back, make it more official. Oh shit, we don't see that language anymore. Like we don't, like, not many people speak it. Let's bring it back. People are getting more patriotic, more and more, because it's they act like it's an actual identity that people identify with. Because it is a historical region, obviously. So people like to be proud of themselves. Having something to be proud of is quite nice.
Yeah. Also, Game Night, sorry for like talking a lot. Do you have any
Oh
questions?
no. Honestly.
Oh, you're just here chilling.
Yeah, chilling with Abby.
You're so tiny
Oh.
on the webcam. Like we're gonna have to like zoom you in.
Little baby man.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Here, is this better?
very much so. Why is it so blue and green?
That's my eye.
But why? Wait, why did it flash? Red, blue. It was like red, and then it was green, and then it's blue.
Well, I'm guessing the green is coming from the light reflecting off the green screen. Oh no, wait, it's the light inside my PC.
Damn.
Oh wow, I see.
But yeah, like that, like patriotic isn't like. I guess it can also apply to like Latin now. Like,
Mhm.
like I think 5 years ago, like on CBS News, like they had an interview with the late great Pater Reginaldus Foster. Like, and they said like there was like only around like 100 like fluent Latin speakers left,
Oh wow.
and like with like now like with Scoprio Matianos who run the area, like now he says like I think with Xiaoming, I don't know how to pronounce his YouTube name, but there's, like,
Shalma, yeah.
Xiaoma, yeah. But there are just like over 20,000 like fluent Latin speakers, so like that number has drastically increased. And I
see.
think I think it's quite important nowadays that people like learn at least a little bit of Latin. A lot of stuff like from our history, like they have been translated from Latin to English. Like it's important to like learn that and learn those things, understand them, just
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's
And-
different when you read it in the original and when you read it in translation. So
Yeah, it's not the same as just
Definitely.
reading it the translated version. Like like it's more like something's more special, like reading it in the original language as it's meant to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Latin has been spoken and used like for like basically I think almost 2,000 years.
Oh
like,
wow.
from-
like, since even before the start of the Roman Empire, like
Yeah, from like 700 BC all the way up to like at least like the Age of the Age of Enlightenment, like in the 17th
it's like
and 18th centuries.
technically still used. So technically,
So Latin has truly hasn't died. It's just like its use has
like
increased over time.
fossilized.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
It's
a
not-
fossil that
Do
you
they-
can.
do they speak only Latin in Rome, for example?
The Vatican, not
Or Vatican.
anymore. It's more Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some priests that speak it. Yeah, and there's also like a kind of debate between whether it's better to speak it with like a traditional Italian ecclesiastical pronunciation, which is how the church has done it for like 1,000 years ish, or like how the Romans actually pronounced it based on like linguistic evidence and whatever. So I mean, I think it's better to speak it how the Romans pronounced it, because that's how it was actually pronounced by people who spoke that as like a native language. But I mean, I feel like if you're speaking it, you're speaking it, so it doesn't really matter that much. But
yeah, it really doesn't matter, since you can understand, like, if you speak classical Latin, you can still understand ecclesiastical Latin like pretty well. Like, it's basically like British English and American English. You can still understand each other. So like,
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up about Latin. You know the meme with the his name was Sussus Among Us.
What's so funny about Sussus Among Us?
I'm just gonna insert a bunch of freaking like Among Us memes. From my PC.
Stulpus est.
What was it? The whole quote, the original one. Like, what's her name? Olympia Batex, or like, yeah. What was the original name? Because I remember it made me laugh so hard.
Like Brian, like
I think so.
Dickus.
Biggest Dickus.
What's funny about Biggest Dickus?
Exactly. I fucking remember that.
Yeah, I think someone actually translated that into actual Latin.
What?
So,
was it actually just like Brandus Penus or something?
I think they still just said biggest dickus, but everything else was still in Latin. But
that's cool.
I guess if we want to, like, we could like put the link down in the description for anyone to check it out. But
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That movie was hilarious.
Yeah, we should watch it at some point. I wonder if you can like actually go, like, if you were to be able to go back in time, actually showing people like memes from like even like today, and like translate them somehow so they can understand it. Would that even work? Because the language is so different.
It could, but mostly I think like the Romans probably wouldn't understand what the fuck you were talking about, because they don't understand the concept of memes. Like, it's a modern like thing, and teaching it to like an ancient people, like, it's gonna be hard. Like, get them used to it.
I feel like it would be more of a cultural barrier than like the linguistic barrier, because like you could speak. I mean, they could probably tell that you're not like a native speaker of Latin, but
I like looking up those like history facts, and like there's like actual jokes and complaints and all this stuff that still applies to this day. It's like somebody complaining about the different quality of copper, and it's just like it's still so applicable today, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can still like kind of understand that they are still like they were real humans. It's not something that's like crazy old or something. It's like we can still relate in some sort of way. I'm looking at the posters in the background. I'm wondering if you ever watch the movies and like the languages you understand, but it's not like English.
I've watched like clips of it for fun, but I haven't actually gotten myself to rewatch a whole movie in another language. But that would be like a good exercise if you're for Spanish. Like, if you just put it on with like the Spanish subtitles and just like wrote down what you didn't understand, because if you know the story, it won't be completely unintelligible.
I forgot to say this, but he's a big fan of Star Wars, so I guess we can talk about Star Wars.
We can make that a second topic. Hell yeah.
We can. We can.
How?
I don't know. That's not in the script.
There's a script. We have script for this fucking shit.
Oh my god!
That's the first time I heard about.
Yeah, you guys only gave me 3 lines.
Wait.
We're going with script here.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Put your own goddamn weight.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking be funny. You're a host, goddammit.
Say the funny.
Say the funny line. Come on.
I'm straight.
It's I think we like first like interacted like February 2021. Like so, like
Yeah, I think so.
if I'm not mistaken, you joined Luke Ranieri's Discord server, and
Yeah.
I greeted you in there, and then like that same day we moved to DMs, and I guess ever since we've been talking like almost every day with like certain like exceptions, like when you went to your trip to like Portuguese camp.
Yep.
Mhm.
But yeah, and
How did-
that's wait, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how did me and Gaming Giant met? Because I met Gabe through the Gaming Giant, but the way I met Gaming Giant, I think we mentioned it on the other episode. But
Yeah, I think so.
Twitter.
yeah, definitely Twitter. But I remember telling you about. I think we're gonna have to bleep this, but foundation, like applying foundation.
No, we were talking about weight loss actually, because I went back to our DMs.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay
I-
then.
because I think I made a self-hating post about being fat.
Yeah, I think that is the case. Yeah, and I was like, bro, you lost a ton of fucking weight just like me. And then I mentioned like you mentioned like something about your skin, and I was like, just fucking like foundation, just use foundation. And I showed you how different it makes your skin look, compared to like before and after. Foundation's great. I love it so much. If you cannot tell, I love makeup.
God, but yeah.
Oh my
I
god,
should
I-
definitely-
Blaming homosexuals. Ugh.
I
Make
know,
me
right?
homophobic.
Damn.
I know, right? You're welcome.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so
Jay.
I'm extremely homophobic, by the way. This is not a
Yeah.
bit.
That's why you're wearing
Damn.
those pink cat ears.
Okay, so I bought a gaming mouse last year during Amazon Prime
Mm-hmm.
like Prime Day, and I ordered a black one. They sent me a pink one.
Oh, so you just
So
went
I-
with it, huh, for the meme?
Yeah, so I was like, oh well, I have this pink gaming mouse. It would be funny if I got the pink headset and then the cat ears. My sister was like, oh, you should have got the cat ear ones. I'm like, well, they sell separate cat ears. And then she's like, you should buy them. So I did. So
Heck yeah. I see.
You femboys.
Meow. I'm not a femboy.
You're
I'm
a femboy.
I'm straight. There's no evidence.
I don't know.
Are you sure about that?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Are you a fanboy?
No.
But yeah,
I'm homophobic.
I guess
can still
we'll
be a-
get back. Wait, go ahead.
You can still be a fanboy and be homophobic.
Oh my god, but yeah, let's get back to talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Sure, why not?
I, as a person, I've never
Hey,
watched
wait, this is you've never watched Star Wars?
not even a single like movie.
Jesus.
I guess it was like the case of like when I was like a 6-year-old. It would be like halfway through the movie when my parents turned it on, or I would like come back from school and it's like halfway through already, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But like, I never officially sat down to watch like a single movie.
Like, I guess I would say this, like, you should definitely watch the original trilogy. Like, that should be like the first thing you watch.
Mhm.
Like, the prequels, like, are bad in like some like in a different way.
You should watch it in like the order it was released. So like 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then you can skip 7, 8, 9. They're not worth it.
7
Really?
was okay, then 8 and 9 were just travesties.
8 was the worst movie objectively.
Is
The
that the-
Last Jedi. The Last
Thank you.
Jedi was the last Star Wars movie that, like, I almost didn't watch Episode 9. So
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So-
thank you, Disney.
The guy that plays Kylo Ren, Adam Driver,
yeah.
I'm gonna small docs. He's from the area where I live, and his family lives around here. His cousin, me and him used to work together. I worked with his cousin. So, we were at work one day, and I could tell that he wasn't doing okay. He was kind of showing some heart attack signs.
Holy shit.
And okay, so I recognize the heart attack signs because growing up, my dad had a lot of heart attacks. And so I was like recognizing some of the signs, and he was just kept working. I'm like, dude, you're not okay. And then like I literally caught him in like the back, like nearly falling over and passing out. So like I
Mhm.
remember I walk up to him like, yeah, you're not okay. So I basically got him to like the management office and was like, got out with like the walkie. I'm like, yo, management to like to like the office, and I'm like, I looked at the boss like, he's not okay. He will lie to you. Us men will lie about not being okay. Get him an ambulance.
Mhm.
And
Meanwhile, I cut myself here, and I had to be fucking transported to the hospital.
but yeah, like I saved his cousin's life.
That's quite cool, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm
I
proud of
feel
you.
like he was one of the only good things in the sequel trilogy was like Kylo Ren. But
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I hope his cousin's still doing alright and he's doing well today.
I hope so.
Yeah, I still talk to him. He's one of the only people there that I like. So
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Is it an episode like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Then are they actually called episodes?
chronologically, yeah, they are called episodes. But
Okay.
the better way to watch it, I'd say, is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, maybe 7, 8, and 9. But that's
if you hate yourself,
optional.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say this, like, would it be preferable to watch the original cuts of the original trilogy or the special editions? That is the real important question.
That
Watch the
doesn't
Christmas
really
special.
matter. The Christmas special,
you
That
need
was
to
the
watch
best
that one.
Star Wars movie
I think
Amen.
by far.
I think that's the only one I actually like watched almost from start to finish,
Jesus.
and it
I
was on
feel
like
bad.
on YouTube. And was that the one with Chewbacca?
Yeah.
I watched that. Yeah, that's the only one I watched. I think.
The only saving grace that it introduces Boba Fett. That's it. That's literally it.
Really? Because I watched it.
Yeah.
I think it was an old Jontron video. I want to
Oh
say.
my god, yeah.
I think he was doing like a reaction back in 2014 before it was like all
Yeah.
cool to do it. I want to get into Star Wars because I love the way the lightsabers look, and like I actually want to buy like a proper like expensive one,
Oh god.
or like or at least make one. I guess like just from DIY it because they look so freaking cool. It feels like a fandom that like my parents would be into. Yeah.
What's your favorite Star Wars episode though?
Episode 5.
5? Okay.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is up there though. I like episode 3.
Oh, episode 3. It's over
Yeah.
Anakin. I have the high ground.
Well,
Yeah.
going back, like Romanophonie's own name was the
Oh.
High Ground 14. That literally was his old username.
Oh hell
It
yeah!
was.
When are you guys gonna get me over there then, huh?
Whenever your OnlyFriends account blows up.
Oh what now?
Your OnlyFriends.
What now?
Your OnlyFans.
Oh shit! Fuck that shit. No, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, little miss, I'm gonna upload.
Listen,
OnlyFans.
maybe one day. Okay. I just made it for a friend. That's it.
Which friend?
I'm not gonna say. He's local. I cannot mention him. Can we take a break? Because I'm getting a call right now and it's kind of important.
Yeah,
Intermission.
sorry.
right.
You can continue though.
time.
I'm gonna mute myself. Oh my fucking god.
They don't have their headphones on, so they can't hear us.
And then also Pop's mid, so yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
recording. Right.
And that's why, in my opinion, Papa should be kicked out of the podcast.
Damn.
Okay.
It's
Time
like
the best of our podcast.
they're just not tall enough, in my opinion. Like you got to at least be 6 foot. I mean, 5'6", and Papu's like 5'4".